Hello, and welcome to Spicy Toast Gaming. Hey everyone, Spicy Toast Gaming here with the hotfix that just went live yesterday. Yesterday we also covered the patch notes, but those patch notes were for a hotfix that went live December 13th. So these are patch notes, or not patch notes, this is just a hotfix. These will be added into the next patch notes, but right now they just did a tweet letting us know what changes they did. So we'll go over here, look at the changes, and then I'll actually go in-game and show you the cards themselves, since right here it doesn't actually show you what the cards are. So there is Back Alley Barkeep, so that just went from a 6 cost to a 7 cost. A little bit sad, as that's a pretty fun card. You could make some pretty crazy builds with it if you got lucky. Granted, this was just a card you could pick up, so not that big of a difference. Darken Aegis, losing 1 power, does feel pretty bad, especially for Aatrox, World Ender, going up to a 16 cost, again, nerfing Aatrox. He'll probably still be fine, but also remember the patch notes we covered yesterday. They also took a tune away from the Blooming Cultist, the 3 cost elusive. So all of these together, Aatrox will actually feel noticeably weaker than he did before this, which is definitely sad. All right, so Fallen Reckoner, losing 1 power and 1 health. Risen Reckoner, again losing 1 power and 1 health. Bit sad. That is a fun card. At least I like it aesthetically. I think all of the undead, what are they, Noxus cards, kind of the Scion archetype, I think they all look really cool. I really hope they get added to Path of Champions as an actual deck. So this is a bit sad, but not going to have too much of an impact. We do have Vayne losing 1 health for both her normal and level up form. So again, that will hurt you. Having that extra point of health was really nice for Path of Champions, especially since you don't get quick attack, and so you are pretty squishy and don't have too much defenses. This might change how you want to build your Vayne. Normally, I wouldn't actually grab quick attack. I would just usually try to pick that up from a champion node in my runs. You might actually want to consider that now, or at least just have more defenses in mind, because she will be a lot easier to kill. Even though it's 1 health point, going from 4 to 3 is actually kind of a big deal. A lot of units hit that 3 power breakpoint. Having just that 1 extra health really lets you take a lot more blocks or attacks safely, because there's a lot of spells and units that, will just do 3 attack or do 3 damage. So the fact that you're moving outside of that range will actually hurt. All right, let's go in-game now and actually showcase all of these cards so you can actually see the card themselves, just in case you don't know the cards just by their name. In-game now, taking a look at the actual cards that they were mentioning, and I'm glad I did, because with the patch notes, I actually was thinking they were nerfing Back Alley Barkeep. So I'm glad they haven't touched this card. It's just the Back Alley Bar that they're nerfing slightly by making this increase cost by 1. Now, I've actually never seen this game or this in Path of Champions, and normally you're not going to be grabbing landmarks anyways, especially ones that cost so much. So this really won't have too much of an impact on us. Taking a look at the Darken Aegis now, and this is an Aatrox deck. Felt like this is kind of the best way to look at it. So we did have it being a 1-1, and then with that studded leather being a 2-2. So that was really nice to have, being able to throw that on a unit and give them a good amount of stats right at the start of the game. You're still going to get a decent amount of stats for the price point, but it really is going to hurt, especially this with all the other nerfs we're also getting. While we're here, we'll also just take a look at Aatrox. And you see World Ender is now 16. Before this was 13. This really will hurt quite often. You could get this done fairly quickly. This is probably going to take you an extra round to be able to use this, which, while that might not sound like a huge amount, having to go and survive one more round before you can use this to end the game, it will be the difference quite often between winning or losing, especially in some of the tougher matches like Aatrox, we're already pressed for time. Now, Aatrox is still very strong. I'm sure he'll still do quite well after all of these nerfs, but all of these stacking up is really hurting your overall power. So this wasn't in the hotfix for today, but it was in the patch notes yesterday. We see here, Blooming Cultist. This used to have a tune, so when you play this, it would give you that 1 extra mana, spell mana, and you could use that for either your spells or also your equipment. Now, since you're reducing the cost of a lot of your cards in hand, that 1 mana, you normally would be able to play either your Darkin Staff or even your Darkin Aegis if this got reduced down to a 1. So just that attune, while it doesn't seem like a large amount, it's again just another nerf that's stacking on top of all of these other nerfs. So pretty annoying, rather sad that our fun champion in Path of Champions is getting nerfed because he's too strong in PvP. Little annoying, but I'll go and take a look at the other cards that were also mentioned in this hotfix. Taking a look at the Fallen Reckoner now. This really actually disappoints me despite the fact that it's not really in Path of Champions too much. So they reduced both the power and health for both versions of this card by 1. So you see here, Fallen Reckoner, when I'm summoned, grant can't block to the weakest enemy, and then last breath, create a Risen Reckoner in hand. That Risen Reckoner, you're still having to play it, but it is a bit stronger, but has Ephemeral. Now, for this being a 5 cost, I thought it was totally fine for it to have that 4-3 stat line. The fact that this is a 5 cost and can just get taken out by like a Mystic Shot or so many other removal spells in the game feels pretty bad. I would have really loved this card to be part of the Scion package. I think this card is awesome. Like, if you just look at the art for it, it's an awesome looking card. But being nerfed by 1/1 in both of its forms, especially when it's such a high cost card, I think is really going to hurt it. And when Scion hopefully gets added, if this card isn't in there, it's going to be pretty sad. So that's it for the Reckoner. Now let's go take a look at Vayne. Vayne here, as you see, she's now a 3 cost 3/3, and now when she levels up, she is a 4/4. Now she doesn't have quick attack or any other special keywords to help her, so her having a pretty solid stat line of a 3/4 I thought was very good, especially for Path of Champions. Like I touched on before, there's a lot of spells or units that hit that 3 power threshold. Normally, if you're going above that, the cards are a lot more expensive and often do a lot more damage. There's very few cards in the game that do 4 damage. It's normally either they do like 1, 2, 3, or they do like 5, 6, something higher than that. So being in that 4 cost threshold at the start really puts you out of range of a lot of removal spells and as well a lot of enemy attacks. So this really sucks, especially since you don't have Challenger, you don't have Quick Attack, you don't have anything like that. So really unfortunate that she's losing that 1 health from both of her forms. So you really might want to grab and throw on a relic. Like, let's take a look here. So you might want to actually use Quick Attack more often. Before, I didn't really feel like it was needed to actually put the relic on her because she was tough enough. But now builds like this with Berserker's Buckle are going to be a lot worse because you're already going to have a hard time of letting her block or take damage at all. Even though it is 1 health, it actually does make a pretty large impact really sad again to see our Path of Champions getting nerfed because they apparently do too well in PvP, which I can't actually attest to since I don't play any of these champions in PvP, but little disappointing and is going to affect how strong Vayne is. Now, you still will probably be able to, or you will be able to clear all content in the game with Vayne, but this will be a noticeable impact, and you will have a slightly harder time in your games now. Alright, that's it for the patch notes. Thank you to those that pointed these out to me. Well, not patch notes, sorry, hotfix. Again, thank you for those that pointed this out in the patch notes video that I did yesterday. I was normally following Legends of Runeterra, their news on their official website, but apparently they're putting information up on Twitter first. So I downloaded Twitter on my phone, put notifications, so I should be able to get these videos out earlier. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, like and subscribe. We're covering everything Path of Champions, all news, putting up tons of content. I hope you guys are enjoying it, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you for watching that whole video, and thank you to everyone who has subscribed. We've hit over 1,000 subscribers in under 3 months. Thank you so much for the support. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe, like the video. We're putting out daily videos covering everything Path of Champions related. I hope you guys have a great end of your year and a great start to your new year.